Hi, I'm Lisa Canning and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today's topic is all about food and how to get your picky eater to broaden their palate. So I'm trying something new on the YouTube channel where we're going to talk about food. I think some videos I'm going to show you what I'm cooking and literally invite you into my kitchen and as if you were right here with me, helping me get ready for my meals. Other times I think I'm going to talk about, just my philosophy on food and the struggles that I have with food for myself and my family. So definitely leave me a comment and let me know, do you like this? Would you like to see more cooking? Like what would you like to see in terms of food? And how would that help your family and your busy life? Let me know in the comments below. But we're trying something new where you're here in my kitchen, so come along with me, take a seat, grab yourself a water or coffee, and let's figure out how we can get picky eaters to eat better. And if you're new to my channel and are just meeting me for the first time, I've got a video where I introduce my kids in a really fun way, and you can check that out in the cards as well. I definitely struggle with picky eaters in my house. Do you want to eat something here? Oh. And I've had to work really hard to figure out ways to make my kids eat more than just chicken nuggets and French fries. It's kind of a problem. But it's a challenge, at the end of a long day when you're tired and trying to just prepare a family meal, it can be really stressful and frustrating to try to keep your children alive by eating nutritious food. And so it can be kind of a struggle to, just get them to try new things. I've got 6 kids ages 8 and under. This is my house before dinner. It is often the time my kids are the most hyper. I have a 8-year-old. I have a 6-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, I have a almost 2-year-old, and then I have 3 months. Baby 3 months isn't really picky. Baby just likes the milk, as you can see by his substantial cheeks. Baby, hey baby. See what I was saying about the substantial cheeks? You have substantial cheeks, hi. But my other kids certainly have shown me that, you can be picky about almost anything. You can be picky about green things. You can be picky about plain things. You can be picky about things with texture, things without texture, things with sauce, things without sauce, things that are cooked, things that are raw. Oh my gosh. It's like a never-ending story. The never-ending story of my kids who are also picky. So if you can relate to picky eaters, and if meal time is sometimes negotiation territory, here are a couple things that have been working in my house. So the first thing you can do to help a picky eater broaden their palate is to involve them in choices. Now, let me be very clear. I make one meal for my family. That is it. There's no here's a peanut butter sandwich if you don't like what mommy has made. I am not a personal chef. I am not a restaurant. I am not going to dish out multiple meals on a family meal. But what I will do is involve my children in choice. So for example, in the morning, I typically create slow cooker meals for dinner. And so I will say, hey kids, at breakfast, do we want chicken cacciatore for dinner or do we want shrimp paella for dinner? And they will say, this is what we feel like. So there's a little bit of choice. There's a little bit of, control. Apparently children like control. Does anyone else have experience with that? Apparently they like control. So involving them in choice a little bit. Or at lunchtime, for example, do you guys want macaroni and cheese or do we feel like grilled cheese sandwiches? So involving a little bit of choice is a great way for kids to feel like they're involved in the meal and perhaps more encourage them to eat said meal.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Evelyn. How's that milk?
I ate all my pasta.
You what?
I ate all my pasta.
Good girl. The second thing you can do to get a picky eater to broaden their palate is to keep meals simple. Now, what do I mean by this? I like cooking, but not really. I like eating. I love food. I love food. And I have grown in my sort of ability to cook, but I wouldn't say I love it. So my meals are very simple. I have basically two kinds of meals that I make. There's the slow cooker meal, which is, like I said, breakfast at breakfast time. I'm literally preparing dinner for that evening so that I've chopped all the vegetables, all the meats in there, and it's sort of ready to go and the kitchen's clean by the time dinner time comes around. Or if I do have time to actually assemble a meal, it's a very simple meal. So it's a protein, a vegetable, and a carbohydrate. And like I said previously, I'll get the kids to be somewhat involved in some of the choices. But even in my, when I have time to cook, so to speak, it's very simple. Like sometimes it's breaded chicken strips out of the freezer, meatballs out of the freezer. Because for me, and certainly if you love to cook and it gives you so much passion and happiness, then that's amazing, go for it. But for me, I find I'm very tired after I've made an involved meal, let's just say, for example, like a homemade, meatball, for example, like that requires a lot of preparation. I'm too tired by the time I'm done the meal that I can't really enjoy the sitting and the eating. So I like to keep it just very simple. For me, mealtime is a very treasured time. I just love it. It's one of my favorite times of the day because I think a meal is so beautiful in the way that it can facilitate conversations and memory making opportunities. I really do try to be as focused on the meal and my family as possible. So there's no TV. We have no TV. This is the exact table we eat dinner on. There's no TV up here. We might have music playing over the speakers. But we really do, there's no books at the table, there's no toys at the table, our phones are away, so that we can focus on each other in a very intentional way. I find just when meals are simple, in my case, in my family, the kids are more inclined to eat it. When I try to do things that have like cool sauces or lots of spices in them, I just find my children are not as excited. And so while we do try different things, certainly, I just find at the stage my kids are at, keeping it very simple has been successful. And also, just to stress the point, making one meal for the family. That's part of simplicity. And when there's one meal, you are encouraging your child to try the meal that you have prepared. So even if they don't like it, they're still trying it anyways. There's no option to have something that is maybe tastier or maybe their go-to item. When there's only one meal, when it's that simplified, you are encouraging them to try something new. And apparently it takes like between 10 to 15 tries of something new for a child to accept it even. So, you just have to keep on going, resist the urge to offer, a multitude of other options and just keep going with that simple one meal at mealtime to encourage your child to try new things. So the first thing is to involve your children in choice, but to a certain degree, not like crazy, just a certain degree. The second way is to keep things simple, and I sort of see it as simplicity both in preparation and simplicity in that you're doing one meal and that's it, no other options. And the third thing that you can do to help a picky eater broaden their palate is my favorite one. Now, of course, I run an interior design business here in Toronto, Canada. So aesthetics and making things look visually appealing is obviously, something dear to my heart. It's not just about vanity or, creating pretty environments for me. It really is about enjoying and appreciating beauty. I really do believe that everything about our environments, including the way our food even is presented, does something to our moods and to our our productivity, and food is no exception. So a couple things I want to point out. Whenever I give my children something that's very messy and saucy, there are some kids who just are not into it at all. It's like, ew, that's disgusting. Like chili. Chili is not something that goes over in my house very well. And I think it's just because of how messy, so to speak, that it looks in the bowl. I love chili though, so that's that. But my children are not into chili. So I do try to make visually appealing meals. So even if I were to do chili, a way that I would make chili visually appealing is I would maybe see if I could find those little, like a Tostito type bowl, or maybe mini bowls, and I would put the chili in these little mini bowls so it kind of looks like I don't know, like just cute. It looks cuter. So that's one way that I would maybe take chili, where if you just put it in a bowl with a spoon, I know my children would be like, ew, that's gross. But if you put them in like cute little tortilla shell type bowls and you had like, you know, maybe like 4 on a plate, it's kind of like just a little bit more appealing. This is what I would typically do for like an after school snack. So as you can see, I've got like a carbohydrate, the crackers, I've got some dairy, some cheese cut up, some vegetables, carrots and celery, and some meat, some just like very simple sausages and salami. And it's really pretty. It's kind of like a charcuterie board, but for children. And this goes over very well in my house for after school time. It's very simple to create. And when they come home from school and they're so ravenous, they kind of just like go at it and pick at what they want, and they make little like sandwiches and towers. It's actually really cute. But it's also very visually appealing. I put it on a nice board, and you know, it's kind of fun. So if you can make your meals look visually appealing, in my house that has gone a long way in helping my kids to eat more stuff. So to recap, the 3 things that you can do to help your picky eater broaden their palate is to 1, involve them in choices in the meal, but not like a lot of choice, a little bit of choice. Number 2, keep the meal simple, both in their preparation as well as in just make one meal for your family. And number 3 is to make the meals visually appealing if possible. I would love to hear your ideas on how you would make meals visually appealing. Yeah, just I feel like there's so much out there on how you can make you know, meals look really cute. But P.S., I'm not one to like, you know, like, let's also make it attainable and realistic. I'm not saying that you make them visually appealing and it takes you an hour to make these cute little, like, you know, well presented per plate. I'm talking quick and simple, you know, so that we can get on with things and just relax and enjoy and spend time together as a family. So if you like this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and to hit the subscribe button below. Thanks so much for watching, and cheers to designing your beautiful life.